when the BCCI dropped Ishan, Kishan and Shreyas Iyer for defaulting on domestic cricket duty and prioritizing themselves and their IPL contracts, it set a huge benchmark that many people believe needed to be set a long time back. Here was the BCCI finally cracking the whip and ensuring that players gave importance to domestic cricket over the IPL, and what's more, even ensured that they would be regularly available for red ball cricket or test cricket when they were selected. It was a move much heralded, and many people were quick to point out that it was in fact something that came about not only from the current captain Rohit Sharma, but also the chairman of selectors Agarkar, and more importantly got a huge push from BCCI secretary Shah. However, in a recent interaction with journalist, Shah himself did not appear keen to take too much credit for the entire matter, and in fact said very clearly that the decision to drop both the players when it was found that they were prioritizing white ball cricket over red ball cricket came from Agarkar himself and not Shah. He added that, look, I'm just someone who's a convener of those meetings. I don't have any actual decision making power, and he said this. He said that that decision lies with Agarkar, who is of course the chairman of selectors. Even when these two players, that is Iyer and Kishan, did not play domestic cricket, the decision to drop them was his. Now, many will say, cynically, people might say that this is him distancing himself from that move, but what I see it as is him ensuring that the selector gets due credit, because again, these are tough calls that a chief selector must make, and this was perhaps the boldest call that Agarkar made in his time in office, when he said, he drew a line in the sand and said, listen, for those of you all who aren't prioritizing domestic cricket, test cricket, and are only looking at your IPL contracts, well, then you won't be considered for India selection. That is the line in the sand that has been drawn, and it is something that impacted even current India players, those who didn't defy the mandate the way an Iyer or a Kishan did, because as Shah himself puts it, he's saying that this was a conversation I had with all players of the Indian team. In fact, he cites one particular example to show what exactly it means to be an India player. He said that, look, even Hardik Pandya, when I spoke to him, said that if the BCCI is considering me for white ball cricket, then I'm ready to play the Vijay Hazare Trophy as well as the SMAT or the Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy. To add to this, he also says very clearly that any player will have to play domestic cricket even if they do not want to, and that last line really sums up the way the mentality is within the board right now. Any player will play domestic cricket even if they do not want to. Which is basically saying you either fall in line or fall by the wayside. And again, it is a good approach, because again, this is a good way to weed out which players are truly serious about playing international cricket for India, or those who are happy being domestic as well as IPL stalwarts. And just so we're clear, there's nothing wrong with either. If as a player you want to prioritize the IPL over international cricket, it's very much your prerogative. And if you're someone who wants to play international cricket, then that's also great. But then you need to be putting in the hard yards. You need to play domestic cricket when the chance arises and you're not on international duty. And you need to be ensuring that you're treating the international game with the respect it deserves. It does sound a little bit romantic at times, but it is that sort of romance that keeps sport going, that keeps the magic of sport alive. And cricket at this point very much at a crossroads moment when you're looking at the club country debate. So for those for whom it means a lot to play for the country, they'll need to put in the hard yards, and I say that's a perfectly fair decision that was taken. And once again, we're getting to know some new interesting things, wherein players like a Hardik Pandya was volunteering and saying that, listen, if it means playing for India, I'm willing to play domestic cricket as well. And as Shah points out, that exactly is the attitude that is necessary. But what are your thoughts on this entire matter? You can let us know that in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap that bell icon, follow us also on social media. We're on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. Don't forget to download the AajTak app, and if you're already on the channel, go ahead, check out some other videos we've done as well. For now, from my side though, it is goodbye.